The 2025 World Surf League Championship Tour continues in Australia, where surfing is a cultural touchstone woven into the coastal fabric of the continent.
Oh, look at this set. Pretty solid, man. 2 waves.
For the world's best, the pressure is mounting as the fight for the final 5 intensifies and the mid-season cut looms on the Outback's horizon. Fate will unfold across stops at Bells Beach, the Gold Coast, and Margaret River. 3 events on 3 different coasts, showcasing the iconic, diverse, and powerful waves Oz has to offer.
Oh my God!
This season, the inaugural Aussie Treble comes to life as men's and women's competitors chase another prize down under. After a 5-year hiatus, the world's elite return to the legendary Gold Coast, a spiritual home of surfing's most high-performance waves. The festival energy will ignite the beach, and in the water, history will be written. At the 2025 Bonsoy Gold Coast Pro presented by GWM.
It is a glorious Saturday morning here on the Gold Coast of Australia. Italo Ferreira in the morning light, checking out conditions with his coach Reynos Hayes. World number 1, Gabriela Bryan, going to put on that yellow jersey for the first time, and Leonardo Fioravanti has been nice and warmed up, surfing Burleigh every day, and Jack still ringing that bell to wake up in the morning. Katie Simmers loving life. Jordy Smith looking for a second major win this season. And Lulu coming off her first ever final at Bells. Hauschman getting loose. And Jake Marshall had the heat of his life at Bells Beach. Looking at a glorious sunrise here on opening day. The beach is going to get filled up quickly because it looks really fun out there as we welcome the championship tour back to the Gold Coast of Australia. So much history going back to the early 70s, and really great to be at a right-hander called Burleigh. Joe Turpel with Felicity Palmatier and Richie Lovett here for Dawn Patrol. Flick, the Gold Coast looks great on you. You probably have some great memories coming here through your childhood and still loving this wave.
Oh, I love it here. I lived actually behind the hill here for 6 years, and it's a world-class wave. It's so beautiful here. You've got the national park, you've got these crystal clear blue waters and really fun waves, so I'm stoked we're here.
Richie Lovett, surfing in over 100 events. I say that a lot because I forget the actual number, but a lot of surfing at the highest level, and that definitely included this wave here. For viewers out there that's seen a lot of snapper, how would you really compare the 2-point breaks on the Goldie?
They do have their differences, primarily sand bottom, right-hand point breaks, where snapper tends to be a little softer and perfect, run down the line. It's got the barrel behind the rock. Burleigh's a more down-the-line wave. It's stretched out a little bit more, and it tends to have a little bit more punch down the line as well. So there's more power in it for me, and it holds a bigger swell as well. So if we get like really big conditions, it'll hold it. The bank's looking really good.
And Flick, as you know, it's like, what a place, the Gold Coast. If one place loses sand, you look around the corner here at Burleigh Heads, which would probably be about a 20-minute drive from Snapper Rocks to get to where we're sitting today.
Yeah, it's super close. I guess you've got so many options as well. The Gold Coast is full of right-hand point breaks, but I think Burleigh's a great option. Obviously, you've got the rock, the rock bottom here, and sand is affected, and the sand is quite good, right? We were speaking about that earlier. It actually looks quite nice, so if that swell does continue to pick up throughout the week, which it looks like it's going to, I think we're going to have great fun waves. I mean, already this morning, conditions are beautiful, it's nice and glassy, and we've seen a few good waves go down.
Coming off a pretty crazy day in the trials, congrats to Sophie McCulloch, also Julian Wilson, getting spots into the main event. That's a lot to unpack there, Rick.
Oh, it's huge. It's unreal. It almost feels like it's destiny. And, you know, the fairy tales there. You know, Julian, we already know he's secured his spot as a wild card for the Challenger Series coming up. But he's gone through the trials and he finds his way back into the Championship Tour. And you could see yesterday he was clearly emotional and affected by, you know, this opportunity. So I think this is all in the storyline for Jules. He can write the script. It's really exciting.
As we flash back in history, 1977 was a very important event for pro surfing history. Peter Druin introduced one-on-one heats, and it's been the foundation of professional surfing ever since. So it seems really fitting to make a breakthrough news announcement for the Championship Tour in 2026.
For 50 years, the world's best have battled for greatness. Now, a new era begins.
It's so exciting that it does come down to this event, this wave, to decide who's going to be the champion.
Beginning in 2026, the Championship Tour finale returns to Pipeline. And once again, it will be the Pipe Masters. The 12-stop CT schedule will run from April to December, starting in Australia and concluding in Hawaii. There will be 9 regular season events. The best 24 men and 16 women advance to the postseason. And then there are 2 more events to establish seeding and 1 shot at surfing's ultimate proving ground, with world titles on the line and 15,000 points. The full 2026 CT field will rejoin at Pipeline, the most consequential event on tour. And the stakes have been raised with the removal of the non-elimination rounds for all CT events. From Bells to Brazil, Jeffreys Bay to Fiji to Portugal, it all leads to Pipeline. Every turn matters. Every heat counts. This is surfing's biggest stage. History will be written. The 2026 Championship Tour. A new era begins.
What an announcement for next season. A lot to look forward to, and just starting off at the banger there. We're returning to the Pipe Masters. How good is that?
Holy, what news. It's pretty exciting. It's just, I don't think there's one, surf fan out there that's going to be disappointed with that. It's pretty exciting news. There's so many stops. It's finishing at Pipeline.
And it was always thrilling starting in Australia as well. So we'll be kicking off the tour next year at Bells Beach.
Yeah, this is super exciting news. I got chicken skin just thinking about it. It's we'll kick it off in Australia and then we'll finish it off with the crescendo at Pipeline. The proving ground, which has always been, for surfers, it's the real deal. Pipeline, and. If you can secure and win a world title there, I think you're really known as an amazing world champion. So we're going back to the tour that I knew. I competed on this style tour for 10 years, and we kicked it off in Oz, and it was an exciting start. And then we ended, and you built your rating and you tried to get a shot at a title. So I'm actually really thrilled. It's shaping up to be an amazing tour.
As we look at what the postseason is, you're going to have the tour whittled down into stop 10 and 11, but the whole tour rejoins for the Pipe Masters, and it's rated at 15,000 points for a win. So talk about coming down to the final event with a chance to fulfill your dreams, like we've seen for many years with Pipe Masters being the finale. Now rated heavier, that's going to be big, Flip.
Oh, it's big. I think you really can't, unless you get someone who has this crazy breakaway season, right, which would be pretty remarkable. It kind of means that the world title is definitely going to be decided there, just with those 15,000 points on offer, which is pretty epic. And then also to save your spot on tour, you're kind of fighting as well right to the end. So I think it's going to make it super exciting. And you know what I also realised? It will be the first time that we crown a women's world champion at Pipeline, potentially, if it goes all the way to the end. So that is cool.
Wow, so much there as well. I mean, we're going to have a long time to unpack all this in this big announcement. What about the elimination round being eliminated? Now, as soon as you start an event, people are packing up. That's a big one, Rick.
Yeah, it is. It's a big one, but, I just think back to, to all other sports that we watch and invest in, and there's not many of them, if any, that actually have like a repechage round. So it's been unique to surfing that's happened. And again, I kind of go back to my experience on tour. It was pretty cutthroat. We didn't have elimination round, for a lot of it. So, you got to turn up and you got to be ready to blow up. And if you don't, you pack your bags and you go to the next one. So it's, it's a fair playing field for everyone. We're on with the show.
And just the legacy of the Pipe Masters. How it always was and how it always should be. Having that naming title on the event is so important for our surfing culture, for our surfers on tour, competing in that proving ground type spot on the North Shore of Oahu. That's a big announcement as well.
It's massive, Rich. You touched on it. And look, not taking away from world titles at other locations, but there's something special about Pipe. We all know it. It's one of the, if not the most dangerous wave on the planet. It's consequential. You've really got to put everything on the line, and it kind of really tests you as a surfer as well. And I personally love sort of watching those waves and watching titles go down there, and it feels like there's so much emotion involved and so much passion and dedication. And yeah, I think it's a great move.
Big, exciting news. That's getting everyone buzzing around this contest site. Let's send it to Vaughn Blakey and Jesse Miley-Dyer for their reactions.
Thanks, Joey. Yeah, we climb out of bed this morning, psyched to see pro surfing back at the spiritual birthplace here at Burleigh. But wow, the whole place has just been set on fire by this incredibly exciting news for 2026, Jesse.
Yeah, it'll be sick. I mean, we've been down here at up here on the hill, at Burleigh, talking to people about it, and I mean, it's cool to be finishing a Pipe again's awesome. For the women to be crowning world champs at Pipe for the first time, I mean, it's going to be an incredible year next year.
There's a lot of people clenching fists and claiming it. It's really cool, and Flick actually just mentioned that we're going to see a woman crowned at Pipeline for the first time ever.
Yeah, for the Pipe Masters as well to be on the Women's Championship Tour for the first time ever. Obviously it's been there with Vans. I think that's a really big moment. And for women to be, there at Pipe winning world titles, we all, we'll show our age, but we all watched, people like, Kelly and Andy, that, those battles for the title at Pipe. So it's going to be awesome to see, people like Katie, Molly going for it the same way. And it's going to be a sick year.
It's going to be unreal. And, right now, though, the focus is on Burleigh Heads. So great to be here. I know, we got to remember, we got to comp on.
Yeah.
But it is, so thrilling to be back here, right where the one-on-one surfing started. And, in light of the fact that we had to move, this is about as good as it gets. What are we in store for today?
Yeah, it's cool to be back at Burleigh. A few of us are a bit older. There was a lot of contests here back in the day, so great to be here. Having said that, with everything that's going on, we're going to be running today. We're having opening rounds of both men and women, so it's a big day, and we've been pretty lucky this morning. There's some pretty fun ones, and it's just coming on a dead low tide, so I reckon it's going to be a pretty good day for us in all.
I think it's going to be a great day. Thanks for chatting with us. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Vaughn. Thrilling announcement for the tour moving forward, and a great announcement here on opening day that we are kicking off with the men's opening round, women's opening round on deck. Should be a massive Saturday here at Burleigh Heads. Start working on your fantasy surf teams. A lot to come here on Dawn Patrol. Be right back. It's warming up quickly here at Burleigh Heads. Probably about 64 degrees Fahrenheit, about 18 degrees Celsius, and heating up throughout the day today. It's glorious here on Saturday. Beautiful lines coming around the point. More surfers in the ocean this morning than we've seen the last few days since we got up here from Bells Beach. Contest is on. Still buzzing around here about the new news for 2026 as the tour will be finishing at Pipeline once again. As we dive into the waves, though, it looks really fun this morning. Surfline has been giving us the reports a few days out, and today they're right on with their call. That little southeast looking really fun, Rich.
Yeah, it is. It's looking great. We've had this energy moving up the east coast of Australia the last few days. I was back in Sydney 2 days ago, and it was really big. So this southern flow has moved right up the coast, and it's starting to make its way around the corner right down at Tweed Heads and starting to make its way into Burleigh Heads. So it's been small down here the last couple of days for the warm-ups, which is generally a good sign because it means the swell's coming. And it's it's looking really fun today, like classic Gold Coast conditions. We're looking at today's conditions right now, 4 to 6 foot faces throughout the day, and offshore winds this morning, and then a little side shore as the wind trends around to the southeast. But that's still good news for Burleigh Heads because it's still relatively offshore and protected. And then as we look further into the week, you can see here consistent sizing around that shoulder to head high, maybe a little bit bigger, and the winds really variable, offshore to side shore. But the cove here is protected, and even when the wind trends round to the east southeast, it's still super fun at Burleigh. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of classic Gold Coast morning.
The secret to success here on this type of a wave, Flick, I've heard a lot of responses from the locals saying how it can be very fast. If your timing's off, you can get left behind. What's your take?
I couldn't agree more. I think it's super fast. I think it's got more power too than, snapper, and it can be quite sectiony, and there's different takeoff spots. So I think what you got to remember is a lot of these guys and women probably have never surfed here as well. So they're all really quickly trying to figure it out. And with it being small the last few days, that's really tricky to do. So I'm really interested to see how they kind of, how they figure it out. And yeah, it's a fast wave, so you want to get moving down the line.
Also, the rock jump. Is that a rite of passage for surfers that aren't from here? Are you allowed to paddle out from the beach? I mean, there's been some wipeouts on the rocks there for people who've never done it before.
Yeah, so, if you haven't been to Burleigh Heads before, there's kind of two entry points. You go from the beach and you paddle up the point, or you go right around the cove and you come in from behind. But that rock jump off the cove is super tricky. It's like, you're kind of scrambling over these boulders that are super slippery. And even when you think you've got a good entry and you can jump on, like a rock will pop up in front of you. So even just getting out is going to be a little challenging. The surfers will need to actually adjust their preheat prep, and factor in that time to get up around the point, get into the water, get back to the takeoff zone. So a bit to think about.
We'll have a camera on it.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, yeah, we will.
We should have one permanently on the jump off, actually.
Let's check out the top 10 heading into stop number 6 of the season. Big movers, especially for Jack Robinson. First win of the year, first bell, moves up to number 3, Flick.
Yeah, it's massive, right? I think that win for him, he started off good this year and then sort of trended down a little bit, but I think he's going to take a lot of confidence from that. That's an event he's wanted to win since he was a little kid. He spoke about that and how special that means to him. And then he's come here, he's on the Gold Coast, he lives here now for the last few years, so he's sleeping in his own bed, competing here at Burleigh. He's going to be feeling really nice about that. And then you just think about the next event, Margaret River, home break, where he's had so much success. Things are looking good for Jack right now.
When you look at the top 5 specifically, Rick, who's standing out to you as the favorite on a wave like Burleigh Heads?
I look at Ethan Ewing and just go, wow, he is just so suited to this style of wave down the line. Natural footer, obviously, so facing the wave, and he's just got some incredible turns to fall into. I also like seeing the big fella, Geordie Smith, holding his position at number 5 as well. It's we're buying into Geordie's tour this year. He's had the win. He did okay down at Bells. He seems to be keeping up with his results. So let's see what he can do here at Burleigh.
Big one for Geordie Smith. 18th year on the championship tour. Always has had great success at the Gold Coast in the past. Let's get more insight on this break here at Burleigh Heads with a local boy, Liam O'Brien.
It's a great little town. There's plenty of restaurants, plenty of bars, lots going on, lots to do. We're down here at Burleigh Heads, which is one of my favourite waves in the world. It's my home break. So I'm going to be breaking down the setup here. At Burleigh, there's pretty much 3 main sections. You got the Cove, which is pretty much from here up, and Sharkies, which is beyond that. And then you come down into the point, which is where everyone's sitting right there. And it's kind of all one section. The waves break right through the whole thing when it's good. The Cove and Sharkies is kind of where you're like getting barreled most of the time. That's kind of why I like sitting up there, because you're just hunting barrels. It's a sand bottom wave. The sand moves around a lot. You can have a lot of different faces out here. You can get a little bit of everything, which makes it pretty interesting and pretty fun. Everyone will be probably taking off just here, which is on the point. You can see there's like pretty dense group of rocks here, and then there's like a little keyhole, and there tends to be just a bit of a kink in the bank just there. And maybe if it gets big, we might get a few up the top here, but most of the surfing's going to kind of go down right in front of us just here. One really cool thing about Burleigh is that they've been able to preserve the headland. still all natural. It's a nature reserve up there. It's quite nice to, you know, when you come surf here, to be able to see it the way it has been all these years. I think it's a good little spot to host the event, and hope everyone gets to see what it's all about and has a good time here.
Big thanks to Liam O'Brien to share all the details of his local lineup, and he celebrated his birthday yesterday. Happy belated to Liam O'Brien. It'll be fun to watch him in the opening round representing the local crew here at Burleigh Heads. Coming up next on Dawn Patrol, it's all about Isabella Nichols having the time of her life on tour. That bell is still ringing loud as she comes into this event as one of the favorites. We'll be right back. What a win it was for Isabella Nichols at Bells Beach. First time making a final at this event. First time taking the big bell. And what a road she had to that final over Gabriela Bryan, over two-time Bells champ and world champ Tyler Wright to meet Lulu in the final at Stop 5.
Oh, she had no easy road for sure. I think it was just, to me, it seemed like she had made clear changes in her approach from her board and like redefining sort of the outline of the board, an inch bigger, I think she said, and then also just her wave selection and choosing bigger waves. It was impeccable, that whole event, right? She didn't put a foot wrong in every heat. She was on those two best waves, and yeah, she absolutely nailed it. Jumped up into fourth position now on the rankings.
Oh, such a big jump, as we know, Rich. She's fallen off at the cut now in 2 previous seasons in a row. Now to have not just that Bells win, but a final before at Punta Roca, this is the best we've seen of Isabella Nichols.
Yeah, for sure. She's in career best form, definitely. And, you know, consistency. We talk about it all the time, and this is the thing that's been lacking from Isabella's repertoire. And now it seems like she's trying to fix that. And, you know, I think it was a real realization moment down at Bells. She's just made history. You know, you get your name on that bell. That is huge. So I think she really needs to believe in her sense of belonging on the women's tour and back her surfing. We know she's got the talent, and I feel like she'll become a permanent fixture, and then the next step is, okay, now how do I start challenging? So, you know, she's in good form, and, you know, she feels totally at home here. And then going to a first for Gabby Bryan, putting on the yellow jersey for the first time, Flick. How are you anticipating her handling that responsibility?
I think she's going to do great. I think also she is so confident this year. She has really rapidly improved in the last couple of years. Obviously, she got that first win in Margaret River, and she's going from strength to strength. She's becoming one of my favourite surfers on tour. Just the power that she has. It seems like she's just sort of knitted, tied it up a few things that were happening in heats, and she's just becoming consistent like Isabella and just sort of unstoppable in those sort of heats, you know. Excellent scores every heat.
Yeah, it doesn't ever look overwhelmed with what's on the line, and that goes to show for Gabby Bryan dealing with the cut in the past and proving that she can surf under pressure. And now to lead the tour at this early, that's going to be something she's going to get used to.
That's massive. And I get the feeling like it's not going to overwhelm her. She's learned how to win. You know, she's learned how to put heats together. She's learned how to use her weapons perfectly, you know, and that's that real power, engagement of the wave and displacement of water, and she literally blows her competitors out of the water.
And we're looking at a new dad there. Connor O'Leary, just had a baby girl. Congrats, Steph. You guys are amazing. We're going to see some dad strength in that first round of competition today. Congrats to the entire O'Leary family. Let's dive into who's in and who's out. We talked at the top about the trials winners from yesterday. Julian Wilson is back in the CT jersey. He has Callum Robson giving him backup with the Wildcard crew as a Bonsoy team rider. Remember, Caltex had one of the most successful rookie starts, a runner-up finish at Bells Beach. Sophie McCulloch's been on tour before as well and has had some really tough injuries, including one that she had at the box in West Oz last year, Flick.
Yeah, it's going to be super exciting to see her back on the CT competing in this format because she's obviously been there before, but she's no stranger to right-hand point breaks. I feel like that is her strength. I think when I think about her surfing, she's got those beautiful arcs, but then she can go really acute and tight in the pocket. And point break surfing is a different kind of surfing, and you can really tell people who have grown up on the points, they just figure it out. So I think, yeah, it's going to be great to watch her compete here.
So Gabby's still hurt from his pectoral injury from the start of the season. Ramsey Bookiam hurt himself at Bells. We're wishing you the best, Rams. Joanne DeFay expecting her first child, and Tatiana taking the rest of the year off. Gentile's back Jordy Lawler gets the call up, representing North Narrabeen. Nadia Arostarbe replacing Joanne DeFay. And oh my goodness gracious.
Holy.
Christmas morning.
Wow.
Stephanie Gilmore. Yeah, here we go. Into the main event again. That's our GOAT. 8-time world champ, representing the Gold Coast. She gets to surf with Luana Silva and Katie Simmers. So many highlights, Flick.
It's just so cool to see. I mean, you think the Gold Coast, you think Steph. I mean, she's won out, Gold Coast Pro 6 times. And her surfing is so suited to these waves. It's just so beautiful. You talk about those romances in surfing, and Steph has one with right-hand point breaks. Her read on it is impeccable. It's the best, in my opinion. Like, men or women, just the read she has, the style, the flow, the pace, everything. So it's going to be cool because we're all been saying, is she going to come back? What's she doing? Is she riding off into the sunset? But it's cool to see her as a wild card here and in the event. So we get to see the GOAT.
8-time world champ. That's a record. 33 CT wins. That's number 1 on the all-time win list. 2007, a rookie that won it all. That's never been done since. Now to take this wild card, what does that mean? What's the purpose in it? Her legacy is defined, and I mean, how great is it that she's entering a big event like this again?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome for us sitting here, the spectators, and everyone. That they're the stats of a Stephanie Gilmore under pressure, focused in. What about a pressure-free Stephanie Gilmore coming in with nothing to lose, and total autonomy to just do what she wants on the wave? So this is going to be super exciting. I'm sure the field is petrified right now just looking at her name in the draw.
Those early visions we got to see in that highlight tape, one of them was a wild card performance when she was still in high school, when the tour would come to her home break and then she beat everybody. She gets thrilled when she's back by her home court. She loves being in her own bed. And you go, okay, she's not committing full-time to competition. She doesn't have to. The fact that this event's coming to her town again, she put her hand up.
I'm not surprised because Steph's competitive, even though she's very cool and calm and collected, she wants to win. Like, if she's putting her hand up to be in this draw, I mean, how are you not going to? It's in your backyard. You roll out of your bed in the morning, you check the waves. This is her bread and butter behind us. Like, you're not going to try and take a bite of the cherry, right? Like,
I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but she's been on the 20s. She's been focus has been off competition. So let's see if, she can sharpen the pencil and really get into gear again.
Maybe she could win a heat on a 20, though.
Hey,
well, she probably could.
Take the 20 out, Steph.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Looking forward to it. Well, she's going to upset the world title race. She might even upset the GWM Aussie Treble, because we're going to dive into all those rankings coming up next, because this is Stop 2. We'll be right back.
The countdown is on for the all-new GWM Aussie Treble.
Can you believe it? The crowd goes bananas.
The world's top surfers will battle it out at 3 iconic events: Bells Beach, Gold Coast and Margaret River, in a game-changing series. Who will rise to the top and drive away with a GWM Tank 300? Watch every wave, every moment live at worldsurfleague.com.
Already been enjoying the GWM Aussie Treble. This is stop number 2, and the winner will take home a GWM Tank 300 after the dust settles at Margaret River, which is the final stop. Really cool to see this enter halfway in the part of the championship tour where we got this mini series all about being in this wonderful country, your favorite country in the world. It's up there for me as well. It's beautiful. Unbelievable surf. We get to show variety as well. Bells Beach to Burleigh's already a big difference. Then finishing at Margaret River. Who's ever the best at those 3 stops deserves that Tank 300.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're 3 really different waves. You got, we just came from Bells, and it was quite cold down there. You got the full suit on, and we had the bowl, and we went down to Winky, and then you're here on the Goldie, and it's beautiful turquoise waters, and you got this long, fast running right-hander, and then to Margaret River.
That's right. Speaking of Margaret River, this is someone that you grew up with, Flick. It was a magic run. He had some huge heats, including one with Felipe Toledo, all the way to that final. That was brilliant to watch.
He was so good, right? It's like he couldn't put a foot wrong, and he was almost beating people just with his positioning out the back. It wasn't even the surfing itself, just so commanding. We always talk about him sort of, being a bit of a Jedi and being sort of a bit of a wizard in the ocean. He was definitely demonstrating that. So, yeah, he's sitting at the number 1 position now on the rankings.
Checking out those rankings, Kanoa making his first final at Bell, sits number 2 heading into Burleigh Heads.
Yeah, well, Kanoa's found some form, definitely. The new equipment under his feet looking really, really good. JS Industries surfboards there. And this is going to be a super entertaining little treble in between all the other ratings and storylines that we're looking at here. And you'd have to think these surfers in the back of their mind are thinking, I wouldn't mind driving away with one of these cars. They're amazing cars too. I've been in them. They're really, really cool.
Really nice. A couple of them are already showing up on site. Jack does have an early round heat with Callum Robson, who's coming back with something to prove as well. So we'll see how that shakes things up this morning.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting to see. I think Jack's just looking in such good form, though. Yeah. It's going to be a hard heat for Callum, but I'm not going to put it past him because, he's obviously been on tour before. He's got the experience. It's not a new thing for him. So see how that shapes up.
Let's go focus on the women's side for this GWM Aussie Treble. Isabella Nichols winning that bell, has that number 1 spot. Luana Silva, number 2. And Brisa Hennessy, Tyler Wright. Those are huge names that finished in the semis or the quarterfinals over at Bell's Beach, Rick.
Yeah, absolutely. The top 5 women there, it's a pretty stacked field, really. Tyler Wright, we're used to seeing her at the top of the ratings. I feel like she's got work to do and wants to find a way back up to number 1. You can see the intensity in her eyes and the way she's competing. She's back in good form. Lakey there, one of the elder surfers on the women's side of the tour now. She's looking in good form too. And Gabriela Bryan, we already spoke about her. She is in just career best form, and the improvement with her has been incredible. But yeah, Isabella will just be stoked to be at the top of those ratings. Maybe one hand on the key already. Who knows?
It feels like it, especially since she's won in Margaret River in the past.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's going to be looking pretty deadly. And then here at Burleigh, she's on her forehand, right? So, she's going to be super fast, those big calves. As long as you can figure out the speed of the wave and just keep going with that trajectory down the line, because, those big calves, you're often going right back to the power source. So it's a sort of different approach. So
what a good time to be Bella Nichols. She's a Queenslander, so she's at home. She's won a QS here in the past. Oh, my goodness. Maybe we are handing her the keys.
Yeah, we definitely got good feels around Isabella and how she's performing. And again, she feels at home. This is where she lives. So, but I think you're right. You've touched on something. It's a different wave to surf when Burleigh Heads is on. Snapper's a different beast. Yep. It's more predictable snapper.
Yeah.
The formula's a little bit easy. Burleigh Heads can it's a bit of a rattle, And I was talking to Luke Egan yesterday, actually, on the SAM. We were just watching the form, all the surfers warming up, and he goes, it's so important to get your pace right and then to slow down at the right moment so that you can fit your 2 or 3 turns in and then get to your finish. So, we'll see who really adapts quickly to this wave.
Loving the breakdown, you guys. Remember, contest is starting at 8 o'clock local time. We'll take a quick break. More to come on Dawn Patrol. We'll be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to Burleigh Heads. Isabella Nichols and Nadia Starve and joining the morning surf before they pack it up and prepare for their heats later on today. We'll be kicking off with the men this morning. Kanoa Garashi, Marco Mignot, and Ryan Callanan on deck for the first heat of the day. There's Jack. Enjoying the sunrise. Residing just down the road these days here on the Gold Coast. So he's happy to be at home, fresh off that win at Bell's Beach. And really happy to get started on day 1 of the waiting period. And we got to thank Hugh McDowell for that, representing Surfline. Thanks for joining us, Hugh. Thanks for the waves. It's looking really fun out there.
Yeah, good to be here. And it does look fun, doesn't it? I'm glad the swells turned up on time, and we're looking at some head-high waves out there on the point at the moment.
Yeah, well, we've got all the maps. We love talking over it. But since we've got you here, do you mind running us through all the maps that you sent us this morning?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to.
Here we go. Courtesy of Surfline and Hugh. What are you seeing here for
Well,
this
we've
map
got
specifically. What's going on with that?
Well, this is the satellite image there, and we've sort of highlighted an area of high pressure. So we've got high pressure building over southeast Australia, and that's driving a southeast fetch up the Tasman Sea. And we see all that swell starting to move into the Gold Coast at the moment. We've got southeast swell there now. The high moves out over New Zealand, and we start seeing the trades firing up, and we should see that swell angle turn more around to the east as we go through the contest window. So today, 4 to 6 foot faces. It's offshore this morning. It's going to go a little bit side shore this afternoon, but hold a similar size, and it should be pretty clean on the face. You know, there'll be fun waves out there this afternoon as well. And then it's quite similar for the upcoming days as well. We should see another couple of days of similar size surf as that kind of east swell holds and keeps it in this sort of range around the head high range. Goes a bit side shore in the afternoons, and then we see a little bit of a downtime, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, it eases off a little bit.
Wow, what a great looking report. Seeing all that green in the morning, meaning it's clean and offshore, scoring on opening day. We love that. It seems like we've had a lot of events where it fires right before the waiting period starts. This one was waiting for us, Hugh. Really happy about that.
Well, I know. It's happened so many times, hasn't it? We've had the good swell a couple of days before the event, but this time it's been small up until the event, and now it's just starting to fill in. And we should see waves all the way through the event.
As we see Kanoa and Seth on the beach. Kanoa will be in the first heat with Marco and Ryan Callinan.
Yeah, Hugh, I noticed a little difference in the direction of the swell from yesterday to today. Looks like it's tracked a little bit more round to the east, and we know that, anything direct south, it kind of doesn't come around the corner up at the Tweed, but we've got the east now, and that's perfect for Burleigh, yeah?
That's exactly right. Yeah, it was quite south the last few days, so the wave's down at D-bar, but it wasn't really getting into the points that well, whereas today it's just gone that little bit more round to the east, and it's going to continue doing that, so improving swell direction for Burleigh over the next couple of days.
The other thing I did notice too is on the waves that we've seen this morning, there's almost this double up happening, just historically I've always associated that with a kind of new swell coming on top of an old swell. Is that the case?
Yeah, we do have mixed swells out there, so there's kind of a south and then there's a southeast as well, and there's maybe a little bit of east starting to fill in as well, so yeah, a couple of swells in the water.
Looking super fun in my opinion.
Well, it's consistent, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's just constant waves, so yeah, lots of opportunity out there.
That's the key word there. You want a lot of waves for everyone in the lineup. These first round heats have 3 surfers out there. They want more than just 2 looks to try to get their scores to move on to the next round. So a glorious looking opening day with that southeast direction. And seeing that sand that's piled up, it's looking like it's in a really good spot, Hugh. What's your job from here on out? Are you just going to continue to watch the maps and give us updates day by day?
Yeah, exactly that. So I'll continue watching the maps. I'll give you updates day by day, and we're tracking a possible increase in the swell towards the end of the window. So hopefully we might see a little bit more.
What are you seeing there so far? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been coming and going, and we've seen a couple of days where it's looked like there might be a big swell towards the end of the window, but actually it's maybe come back a little bit. It should be at least similar to this, and maybe we'll see a little bit more. So we're just tracking that at the moment.
Pretty exciting. A lot to digest.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're keeping pretty guarded about that next swell.
Well, I don't want to.
Hedge your bets.
I don't want to overpromise at this stage.
Good call. Hugh, thanks so much for your time. We'll be checking in with him throughout this event window. Big thanks to Surfline. Remember, contest about to start with heat number 1 of the opening round. We'll be right back.
The thing about history is that whatever happens, happens. There's no denying it. It is what it is. And no matter how hard you try, you're never entirely in control. It's the beautiful chaos. Hell and heaven cancelling each other out. Triumph and defeat. This year, history will be told in 12 chapters. 54 men and women will write it. History will be written live at worldsurfleague.com.
History will be written here at Burleigh Heads once again. So much great surfing history going back to the big events at the Stubbies Pro in the late 70s into the 80s, where this beach was absolutely packed. The crowd was buzzing on that little grassy knoll under all those trees. So many beautiful memories. Great to be back here at Burleigh Heads, and what a great time to be a rookie on tour for Marco Mignot. You look at this wave, you think about what Marco could do to it. Oh my goodness. He'd be marking this as an event where he needs to make it into finals day.
Yeah, definitely. I actually was getting a coffee this morning and he was standing next to me. I was like, hey, have you ever surfed out here before? And he's like, you know what? I've actually only surfed out here once and it was really small and I've just only had the warm-up, the last couple of days and it's still been small. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys adapt with just such little experience. But his kind of surfing, he's fast, he's got that progression. I feel like this could be a good event for him.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with that end section, which it basically closes out when you get to the end of the wave here. So we know he's got some big airs in his game, so he could really draw on that.
So many great clashes to watch today, but let's focus in on the Hydrolite heat to watch. Jack Robinson happy to be now in his new home of the Gold Coast and headlining this matchup with Al Cleland Jr. and not an ordinary wild card in Callum Robson.
No, well, we know that Callum is, he's had success on the Gold Coast. He won the Challenger Series event when it was on at Snapper Rocks. I mean, he's so comfortable here, so he could be a real threat in this heat. Al, well, he hasn't really competed on the Gold Coast from my knowledge, and this is all new to him. So, again, we'll see how he can adapt, and, well, Jack's not a heater.
Oh, I like it because it's kind of a rematch. Jack and Al, you rewind to Pipe at the beginning of the year, and Al pipped Jack right at the end, even though Jack had that 10-point ride. So I think, Jack's probably got some unfinished business there. I mean, that would have been a tough pill to swallow, you're going down with a 10 to a rookie. So I think this is going to be a really fun heat. And, Jack's, he lives here, so he's going to be feeling pretty comfortable. Al has had some really close heats this year too. Even think back to Bell's, that one with Leo. It's feels like he's like grinding away, but he's figuring it out. So yeah, it's going to be a really good heat to watch.
On the women's side, a big one to watch. The Hydrolite heat to watch will feature world number 2 Katie Simmers, world champ from last year, taking on the greatest of all time, Steph Gilmore, and Luana Silva, fresh off her best result of her career.
This is a cool heat. I think, obviously, Lulu, she's got all that confidence from Bells, like, no doubt, right? We'll see where that takes her here. But when I look at Katie and Steph matching up, I feel Katie probably draws a lot of inspiration from Steph's surfing, right? You can see it. There's no doubt about it. So it's going to be really cool to see this because, there's years between them. But I know that Steph is competitive and she's not going to want to go down to these 2 Groms, basically. But then Katie, she's just, I think after that loss at Bell, she's kind of been like, hang on a sec, maybe I got a little bit complacent. So she is going to want to get the win here too. It's really good heat.
Such an awesome comparison and an opportunity to see them in the same heat together with Katie Simmers basically being Steph all those years ago.
Yeah.
When she had the ability to win a world title in her first try, Katie came close to that, but still became the youngest world champ ever. And now Steph gets to enter the arena and just check in on the new guard that's owning the tour.
Yeah, it really is kind of old school versus new school, really. And we know that Katie is bringing an exciting way of surfing to the tour. She's approaching the wave in a different way, different lines. And as you said, Flick, that would have been inspired by what Steph did throughout her career. So, there will be a little mini battle going on between those two. And poor Lulu, she's just, charged her way through grittily, at Bells and overcame these massive heats. And then she finds herself in the heat of the round against 2 giant killers.
That's going to be a fun one to watch. We just saw a fun little warm-up wave for Kanoa Garashi, and we know Kaipo Guerrero's already ready to go in the water. Kaipo, what a beautiful morning. What are you seeing?
Joey, ain't no party like a Gold Coast party. It is absolutely stunning out here. The waves look super fun. They're green. They're a couple wide ones every once in a while. The Burleigh headland in the background. It is an exceptional morning out here on the water.
Kaipo, we're doing a lot of comparisons in the morning show about Snapper versus Burleigh, and the one topic is like knowing where to sit at the right time at Burleigh Heads. Is that becoming a little bit more clear as the sun's come up?
Yeah. You're 100% right with that, Joe, in that there's sections. I see the primary section, but every once in a while there's a wide one over here, further down the point that we kind of get caught inside on, potentially. So there are sections to identify, but I also feel that's going to give some opportunity for surfers under priority.
Thanks so much, Kaipo. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Joe.
Big heat about to get started and kicking off opening day here of the Bonsoy Gold Coast Pro presented by GWM. Kanoa Garashi off the final appearance at Bells is just owning his career at the moment. He's got Marco Mignot and Ryan Callanan to deal with in this first heat of the day. Kanoa has spent a ton of time on the Goldie in his lifetime. And the way he can transition with that beautiful tail slide off the top, he looked great with it at Bells, but I think it's going to be even more reliable here at Burleigh Heads.
Yeah, this is a really good matchup. I think Kanoa's a fast surfer. It's sort of like electricity comes to mind when I think of his surfing, and I'd say he's probably spent a little bit of time out here with all the time that's, he's been coming to the Gold Coast, like you mentioned, Joe, since he was about 10 years old. So I'd say he's probably surfed out here before.